Welcome to Talk to Me Baby, the show that believes knowing yourself and living in accordance with who you are is the biggest asset you can possess in life. I'm your host, Emily de Adamas, and today we are going to talk about manifesting and the second thought rule. Earlier this week, I was thinking about how when we are thinking about a subject matter that's important to us, maybe something that we want to manifest, the second thought that we think is actually the most important, not the very first, because the first thought is usually kind of excited and hopeful. And then the second thought actually will reveal to us where we are. And the reason that that matters is because most people are going about manifesting the wrong way. So to do this episode, I would be remiss if I did not mention the fact that most of what I am going to be speaking on is foundational Abraham Hicks work. So Abraham, Esther, Jerry, if you're interested in anything that I'm speaking about and you really want to understand this subject matter on a deeper level, then I would highly recommend that you check out their book, Ask and It Is Given, because this is really like the foundational work when it comes to this very trendy topic of manifesting. And it's something that's been around since forever, but certainly they've been talking about it since at least the 80s. I also want to mention the fact that I worked with a manifestation coach, a mindset coach. Her name is Tiffany Nicole. I will leave her information down below. And last but not least, I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Wayne Dyer, because his book was the first that I read back when I was 15, and I didn't even know what I was diving into. I just found this book at home and I started reading it, and it really gave me an understanding of the universe, how this universe works at a very young age, which I think has contributed to why I'm able to shift my perspective and why I'm able to change my view of things and therefore have reality reflect back to me. Now, what is on my lips? Let's talk about that before we get into it. This is my very favorite Chanel lip gloss. It is in the color 119. It is called Bourgeoisie. The Chanel lip glosses are awesome. Dawson, who is here with me if you're watching this on video, has a little bit of a kitty cold. So if he sneezes throughout this video, I apologize. There's literally nothing I can do about it. But you're going to feel better soon, aren't you, baby? So let's get into small talk. Manifesting has become this very hot and popular topic. It's something that people talk about usually in association with writing lists or doing affirmations, or I'm going to manifest this, I'm going to manifest that. And that is a very surface level kind of pop culture view of what manifesting is. Manifesting is really just the principle that the energy that you are putting out is what you are getting back. Right? Vibrationally, energetically, what you feel is reflected back to you through the circumstances of your life, the things that you're experiencing, how the world is responding to you in essence. And you can control what you're getting back based on how you choose to feel and how you choose to operate in this present moment. That's basically how manifesting works. It's on this concept of the law of attraction, on the concept that like attracts like, and if you want something, you need to act as if it's already yours. You need to embody the essence of whatever that is so that you can actually call it into your 3D reality and you can experience it, right? There are many different ways to approach this. People have many different tips and tricks. It's like write this thing down 30 times, or scripting, for example, where you write a story or a journal entry as if the thing that you want has already happened, or you tap into the essence of it and you act as if and you think thoughts as if this thing was already yours. Now, what I think a lot of this fails to mention, and if you want to understand this on a deeper level, again, I would recommend any of the sources of information that I initially mentioned. So Abraham Hicks, Tiffany, or Wayne Dyer. When you're thinking about manifesting, it's not like you turn it on and you turn it off. It's not like, okay, now I'm manifesting, now I'm not. You are doing this around the clock 24/7. Every single thing in your life is a manifestation of a thought that you believe and an emotion that you are feeling on a regular basis. So it isn't like, I really want a car, so I'm going to manifest this car. I really want this vacation, so I'm going to manifest this vacation. I'm going to manifest this job. I'm going to manifest this partner in my life. Yes, you are doing that, but you are also manifesting day to day every single aspect of your life. You can judge this for yourself because when you are in a good mood, generally, good things are happening. When you are in a bad mood, that's when it's like things just continue to pile on and your day just goes from worse to worse to worse. You have experienced this throughout your life. And most people are a mixed bag, right? We're not all happy all the time, and we're not all sad all the time. And that's how we are meant to be. We are not meant to be in this perfect state of feeling good 24/7. That's just not realistic. And in fact, when you feel negative or when you're having a thought that is causing negative emotion, you can use that as a jumping off point to help you create what it is that you do want in your life. When you experience things that are negative or things that you would rather not have experienced, those things are helping you to create what it is that you actually want in the future because they've given you clarity or they've given you understanding or they've just given you the determination to now get what you want because you're sick of getting XYZ thing. So manifesting isn't this thing that you're sometimes doing and you're sometimes not. You are literally doing it all of the time, whether you are aware of it or not. And to not get obsessive about it, because that is a possibility, we just want to ask ourselves, where am I falling on the spectrum in terms of what it is that I feel about a subject that is important to me? All of us at any given moment in time have subjects or desires that are important to us. And those things can alter. If you are in the process of shopping around for a home, that's going to be more in the forefront of your mind than, say, if you're happily in your home and that's not really a priority. If you are in a relationship, maybe you want to improve the relationship versus if you're not in a relationship, maybe you just want a relationship, period. Everybody's at different places in their life. But when you think about, let's say, the top 3 things that really matter to you in this moment, what you want to do is ask yourself, are the thoughts that I'm thinking about this subject helping me to create what I actually want the result to be? Or are they doing the opposite of that? Are they hurting me? And you're going to know based on how you feel. So with manifestation, it's really an exercise in getting very in tune with what you actually think and what you actually feel. And where I think a lot of this goes awry is that just saying affirmations and just telling yourself nice things and scripting once or twice is not going to necessarily work for you. And it's not because manifestation in general doesn't work. It's because you're approaching it from a standpoint of not really, truly assessing where you currently are and going from there. To give you one of my favorite Abraham Hicks metaphors about this, if you're driving around and you notice your gas tank is on empty, you don't just put a happy face sticker on the gas gauge and just keep driving. Nope, this is fine. Everything's great. Everything's dandy. No. You deal with it. You go to the gas station. You get more gas. You do what you know you need to do. And it's very similar when we are approaching this concept of manifesting. A lot of times we're just basically putting the happy face sticker on situations because we're saying affirmations and we're writing things down, but we're not truly feeling what we need to feel. We're not truly assessing what are the actual thoughts that I'm having on a regular basis because they matter. They matter more than you could possibly ever imagine. Your thoughts are literally what is creating your reality because your thoughts are creating an emotion. The emotion is what dictates whether or not you are on the right track to create what it is that you want. So your thoughts really do matter. Now, that's not an excuse or an invitation to become obsessive about your thoughts because I've certainly been down that path where I'm like, I can't think about that. I can't think of that. We're not trying to do that. But you do want to be aware of what your thoughts are. Hence, the second thought rule. So I want you to, for a second, think about something that matters to you. So something that you currently don't have in your life that you want to have, okay? That could be a vacation you're planning, a trip, a relationship, a state of health, a financial level, whatever, okay? I want you to imagine this thing, and then I want you to note, what is the very next thought that I'm thinking? What is the second thought? So let's say you're trying to go to Paris. You're like, ooh, Paris. But the tickets are so expensive. But I haven't been able to find the time to go. But I'm not really sure if I'll ever actually get there. But the flight is going to be really long. But I don't know where I'm going to stay. But I'm not sure how it's going to work out. Like, these might seem like very micro, not that big of a deal thoughts, and they're not, right, in the grand scheme of things. But that is an indication to you, where are you falling in terms of your thoughts in regards to the subject matter of I want to go to Paris. Most of the time, if there's a but at the beginning of the sentence, you're going in the wrong direction. I'm just going to wager. You are going in the wrong direction because you are about to say something that is in opposition to what it is that you want. Versus if you said to yourself, I want to go to Paris. Ooh, it's going to be so fun. No matter what time of year I go, I'm going to have a good time. I'm sure I'm going to find an amazing place to stay. I'm going to have great experiences. I'm going to get to eat so much cheese. I'm going to go to the Louvre and I'm going to go shopping and I can't wait. Those are two very different frames of mind and perspectives on which to view the situation. If something matters to you, it is worth you doing this exercise. I, 4 or 5 years ago, was in a very different place than I am today from a mental and energetic perspective. I used to be a hypochondriac. I used to be super type A. I used to be very controlling. I felt like the world was out to get me. I felt like life owed me something. I felt like life was against me, frankly. I felt like every obstacle, like things were just really hard and harder than they needed to be. And I didn't know how to get out of that. And I didn't know how to move things forward. And what I found through working with my mindset coach and what I found through really diving deep into Abraham Hicks is how all of that power is within me to shift what I think about things. And by opening that up little by little, it's really brought me to a place now where 3 things are true for me. And these are the 3 things that I invite need to be true for you. So you may not actually believe anything that I'm about to tell you, and that's fine. I want you to just pretend. I want you to just suspend judgment. I want you to just think to yourself, you know what, maybe I'm not fully there. Maybe I don't really buy what she's saying, but just be open-minded, okay? Because these are the 3 things that need to be true. You need to believe, number 1, this is an infinite universe with infinite possibilities, okay? I want you to zoom out for a second and imagine your body. You can close your eyes if you want. I want you to imagine your body sitting wherever you're sitting, wherever you are listening to this. I want you to zoom out and I want you to imagine yourself floating above your house, above your city, above your state, above your country, above the earth. I want you to be so high up in space that you are now seeing Earth from an outside perspective. I want you to be up in the cosmos. I want you to be up with this view of Earth as this small thing below you. Think about how little this planet is in the grand scheme of things. Think about how little your problems seem from way up there. This is an infinite universe full of infinite possibilities, and you are infinitely known by God, by the divine, by source, by spirit, by whatever you want to call it. But you are infinitely known. Every single one of your preferences, every single one of your desires, every single thing you've experienced, every thought that you've had is intimately known. Having said that, let's move to number 2. Do you believe that this is ultimately a friendly universe designed to support us, designed to help us achieve and experience what it is that we want to during our time here? Maybe it hasn't always felt friendly. Maybe it hasn't always felt safe. There are plenty of examples in the world of things that are horrible and terrible and honestly heartbreaking. Maybe this universe hasn't always been friendly to you, but do you believe that it is possible for the universe to support you? Would you like it to be possible for the universe to support you? And 3, do you believe that you get to decide? You get to choose how you view this world. You get to choose the thoughts that you think, therefore you get to choose your perspective, and if you choose to be miserable, you can. If you choose to see life from a negative perspective, you can. If you choose to close yourself off to the possibilities, you can. There's nobody stopping you. You have free will. So that's the premise that I think is very important to adopt. Before you start trying to quote unquote manifest anything, we need to establish these things. To recap, number 1, this is an infinite universe full of infinite possibilities. Number 2, this is a friendly universe. And number 3, you get to decide. You get to decide. And when you approach life from these 3 beliefs, then it becomes like a game. it becomes enjoyable to quote unquote manifest it. And even the things that go wrong are beneficial because you're like, I can make the connection between I've been having this thought and I've been feeling this way and I haven't dealt with it. And then boom, this thing happened, right? You can start to actually create an association between what is it you think and feel on a regular basis and what's coming back to you in reality. Okay, you are manifesting all of the time, whether you are aware of it or not. You are in a process of manifesting. Now you can start to see why it's so important for you to have awareness of what it is that you are thinking on a regular basis, because that's going to create your emotions and your emotional average, right? In Abraham Hicks language, they call it set point. That kind of average of where you are is what dictates what comes to you. Most people have a pretty mixed bag of emotions. We all do. And so sometimes good things happen and sometimes bad things happen. But I want you to know that you can get to a place where more good things are happening than bad. You can, because you are powerful, because this is an infinite universe, because this is a friendly universe, and because you get to decide you can go that route. Does it mean that you're never going to have a negative experience ever again in your life? No. But it means that your perspective on the negative experiences will shift to such a degree that you can actually find the silver lining in anything that happens to you. Anything. You get to decide these things. And so the second thought rule is really important because that is what is going to dictate to you, this is where I'm at. Like the gas gauge example. Where am I? Am I half full? Am I full? Am I on empty? Like where am I at? You can't do anything about anything unless you know where you currently are. Okay, and this is an ongoing thing. This is the one thing that in most manifestation content people are not talking about. Manifesting isn't just this thing that you're doing once in a while when you want something. First of all, we talked about that. But second of all, it's something that you do day in and day out, moment to moment. It's not like you just did it once and then that's fine. Oh, I shifted my thoughts about this subject that's important to me. Now I feel great about Paris. Like, that's it. I'm good. No, because every single day and every single moment, you are here now in the present and you're reacting to different things and there are different factors, different variables. My biggest strength in this work is just the fact that I'm willing to do it day in and day out. And is it annoying? Yes. It's annoying. I've written poems about how it's annoying. I'm like, really, law of attraction, I don't want to deal with you today, but I have to, because that's just how it works. So when I think a thought that makes me feel icky, and it's about something that I care about genuinely, I take the time to actually work through it. I literally will write down in my journal. I will take time to meditate. I will say, wait, pause, whatever else I'm doing, I need to focus on this. And when I don't, because sometimes life is lifing and things are happening and I'm busy or I don't get to it, what happens? Those thoughts start to accumulate until bam, things happen in my external reality. And I'm like, yep, I had the opportunity to maybe think about this differently and I didn't, and now this happened. And I could beat myself up for it. I certainly have many times. But I've gotten to a point where I understand that I can shift those thoughts and I can shift those beliefs. And that's really what the work is. It's on a consistent basis. I mean, every single day of my life, even knowing what I know now, I still have limiting beliefs. I still have beliefs that are negative. I still have beliefs that are in opposition to what I want every single day. But it's my job to then recognize that and say, wait. Because I'm the one in charge here and I'm the one deciding and I don't want that. So I'm going to rethink this and I'm going to take the time to make myself feel better, because that is the most important thing. It's that you feel better, because when you feel better, you can create better. And what you manifest in your life will surprise you and will shock you and delight you in ways that you could never have predicted. Let's do deep talk, because what happens is that people get discouraged when they're trying to quote unquote manifest, because things are not happening in 3D reality. And what you have to understand is that everything starts off as thought and emotion first. So you feeling slightly better is the manifestation. That's proof that you are on the right track. What happens is that people stop and they're like, this doesn't really work. And they just go back into their patterns of thought that are not helpful because they haven't taken it far enough. But if you just kept going, eventually the thing that you want would actually show up in 3D reality. But you're not allowing that to happen because you're still in a place of, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the proof in the pudding. And that's because that's how humans are wired. We are designed to see things first and then believe them, whereas you have to believe it first and then see it. That's actually how things work. That's how the entire universe works. That's how we are here. Whether or not you believe in the creation story or the Big Bang, there was nothing and then there was something. And nothing is what you can't see with your five senses. But if you can think it and if you can feel it, that is the seed and that is the beginning. And so you have to just run with that. I want to do an example because right now, and this is a personal story from my own life of where I am currently at with something that is very important to me, and that is the love of my life, my husband. I was married before. I got divorced about 4 years ago, and I am still in that process. He isn't here yet. And to be honest with you, there's a part of me that's like, girl, but you know better. Like, like you really know Abraham Hicks. You know better. Like, why isn't he here yet? And those are the thoughts that I have to grapple with and that I have to struggle with and learn to shift. And so lately I've been in a place where I have really made a lot of strides and I'm very proud of, because the second thought that I've been thinking, instead of it being like, man in my dreams, but he isn't here yet, but why isn't he here yet, but why is it taking so long, but what I want is so specific, but what I want is a really long list, but it's impossible to find, yada, yada, yada. The thoughts have shifted to, this is going to be fun. I haven't met him yet, but it's going to be really fun when I do. And I can't wait to know what his name is, where he's from, what he does for a living. I want to know all these things about him. I can't wait to know like what our first interactions are going to be like. And it's excitement. That's what I've shifted to, is a sense of excitement and expectation versus focusing on what's not here yet. Being able to recognize that my overall thoughts have changed is the first indication to me that I'm on the right track. It's the first indication to me that my perspective is changing on this and that my perspective is opening on this. And in fact, something interesting happened just a few days ago. I was having dinner with some family friends, and these are people I haven't seen in years. And the husband asked me, he said, I hope you're not offended, but is there a special man in your life? Because you just have this je ne sais quoi about your energy. And the answer to that is no. There isn't somebody physically here next to me. However, the fact that he felt that from me is a huge confirmation for me that I'm heading in the right direction. Now, for most people, that might just be a throwaway comment. That might just be like, nah, no, whatever. Like, I could say, oh, you're ridiculous. I'm not seeing anybody right now. And no, and I'm still single and blah, blah, blah. Or I could view it how I did, which is to say, it must be working. If a third party person who is not me, because I know what I feel internally, but if this other person, other human is reflecting that back to me, that's big. And for most people, that might just be a phrase and you don't even think about it. When you start really paying attention to your thoughts and your emotions, these little things will be signposts on the road that will indicate to you which way you're going. And you will start to recognize them and relish in them a lot more. If you allow yourself the opportunity to really observe your life from that perspective of, I'm continually getting feedback and I'm continually getting information from the universe and what is reflected back at me that is showing me where I am at. That's big. That's really big, because it's all about your perspective and how you choose to view things. But that's how I choose to view my life, that I'm getting that continual feedback and that kind of continual sensation. And something that I try to practice, regardless of from a romantic perspective, is just, what is my attitude towards men in general? And for my friends who are watching this right now, who are single or who are looking for love or who have a relationship and want it to be better, whatever your case is, if I asked you to just close your eyes, think about men, what are those thoughts that come up? There's no judgment, but you need to know where you're at to be able to change where you're at. If the thoughts are, men, right? I roll. If the thoughts are, men are the worst, men are trash, there are no good men, I can't find any good men, there are no good men in my city, All the good ones are taken. Men are liars. Men are cheats. I can't trust men. Men don't know what's going on. Men are incompetent. Men don't listen to me. Men don't value women. Men don't understand anything. Oh, patriarchy. If those are your thoughts, that is what you are going to get back. And think about it from a law of attraction perspective, like attracts like. Why would a good man with the qualities that you're looking for end up in your reality if your reaction to men is that men ain't shit? Right? I mean, like, let's be real for a second. If your attitude towards men is men suck, and rightfully so, you probably have experienced things that have caused you to believe these things, okay? And that's valid. But if that is your overarching energy around men, why would a good man with all of the qualities that you want to hang around you? Why would anyone want to hang out in a place where they're not welcome? You are closing yourself off actively if you're thinking those things. Whether, and even if you're married, if your thoughts are like men are incompetent and men don't get anything right and men have no clue what's going on in life and blah, blah, blah. I had a lot of those thoughts when I was married. What was I getting back? I was creating that. One of the things that I try to cultivate in myself, just in general, whether it's a romantic situation or not, is men are kind to me. Men are generous. Men are fun to be around. I have great conversations with men. I have great relationships with men. And recently, I also got proof of that. Because if you recall the very beginning of this podcast back in August, I was concerned about my bathroom because I thought, this is the very first episode I recorded, oh, I'm going to have to rip out my vanity and I'm going to have to get, everything's going to have to get remodeled. And here we are in February and that all happened. And everything is remodeled and it's beautiful. It's great now. And throughout that process, there was a day that I was coming back and I was carrying groceries and I was in the elevator with one of the guys that works maintenance in this building and who had been here through the whole saga. And so we started chatting. And he noticed I had groceries and he said, oh, can I help you with your groceries? And I said, sure. And he brought my groceries in for me. Unprompted. I wasn't asking him to help me. And I thought, wow, that's so nice. That's great. And I noticed that. And those are the moments where I will say internally to myself, thank you, universe. Thank you. Because that was really nice. Or for example, this Friday I had this team meeting and we were having breakfast and I got up to throw out my plate and the guy across from me said, no, I'll take it. And he gathered up all the plates for everybody at the table and he threw them out. Now, for you, you might think that's the most basic human 101 politeness kind of a thing. But to me, I was like, oh, that's so nice. Thank you for that. Genuinely, thank you for that. I received that. I was open to receiving. That's what we talk about in manifesting too, is like you have to be open to receiving. That means that I'm acknowledging and that I'm recognizing, oh, wow, that's so nice. Little by little, you can shift your attitude towards men. And then you can shift your attitude towards what you're willing to allow and what you're willing to get back. And I will tell you that when I was in that process of dating on the apps, did I have some negative experiences? Sure. But for the most part, I have not experienced half of what the typical woman experiences on a dating app. And it is because I worked on my mentality towards it when I was on there. And the one time that I was like really serious about it, I was in a relationship within a month. Bada bing, bada boom. I never had men who, were really out of line. I had a man stand me up once. I had, people text me and then I never went anywhere. But I went in with that expectation that I was going to date and I was going to have fun. And I never had any issues with any men asking me out or moving the conversation forward. They all wanted to go on a second date with me. They were all really great. They had excellent jobs. It was a nice experience, nice conversation. All of them paid. Like the things that most women want that a lot of women actually struggle with on the apps, I never experienced. And I can tell you it is because of the mentality that I went in with it. And I know that you might be listening to this and thinking, yeah, Emily, but why should I be the one to change my thoughts around men? Like, shouldn't we expect more from men? And why should I accept the bare minimum? And like the men out here are not even doing the least. You know what I mean? I understand and I hear you. But if you are waiting for men to shape up for you to feel better, you are going to be waiting forever. Because if you are waiting for the world at large to fix itself for you to then feel better, you are always going to be on the back foot and you are always in a position of being disempowered. You are essentially making yourself a victim. And that's not to excuse negative behavior. That's not to excuse, the stuff that we experience with men. But I want to put that out there that you have the power to change your thoughts. And when you change your thoughts and you change your emotions, the world will reflect back to you something different. So if right now, in any area of your life, you are getting something that you don't want, it is on you to make changes to how you think and how you feel in order to create different. It is no one else's responsibility. And frankly, it's no one else's fault. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow. I'm not saying that the situations that you have dealt with in your life are your fault, but how you choose to view them and how you choose to perpetuate them with your thoughts is on you. And that's not a bad thing. Because if we go back to the 3 things we need to believe, that number 1, this is an infinite universe with infinite possibilities. 2, this is a friendly universe. And 3, you get to decide. Why would you want to give that power away to anyone else? Do you understand how powerful you are? That you can shift your thoughts and you can change what you think. And literally, it doesn't take much effort. It really doesn't. It doesn't take much effort to just try to look at things from a different perspective, create a different emotion within yourself, and you will actually get something different in the world. Why would you not want to do that? Why would you want to view life as if you're the victim and everybody else needs to do things for you and it's up to them for you to have what you want in life? No, it's up to you and you alone. And you get to decide, which is the coolest part, because you get to create what it is that you want. And that's the whole purpose of manifesting. That's why people like it, because they're like, oh, I want to have this experience. I want to drive this car. I want to be with this type of man. I want to have this kind of job opportunity. You get to choose that, and you get to have as much fun with it as you want. Or you get to be as miserable with it as you want. But if you're looking at the world, or you're looking at men, or you're looking at whatever, and you're asking them to change and be different, but you yourself are not changing the thoughts that you think and the emotions you feel, you are never going to get what you want. You're just going to continue to get more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. In order to create different, you have to think different. And the best part about it is that it is totally within your reach. It might feel a little unnatural at first. It might not feel like what you've been taught to do. But if you want to, you absolutely can. And you don't have to jump from 0 to 100. You can start simple. And that's really the best way to do it, because things will build momentum. You just need to slowly be open to changing your thoughts. You don't even need to really change them at first. If you just genuinely think, you know what, I've been having a lot of negative thoughts about this area of my life, and I would like to potentially see things different. I am open to the possibility of seeing things different. I am open to the possibility of new stories that I'm telling myself. I am open to the possibility of new beginnings around this subject. I am open to the possibility of a shakeup in regards to how I've been viewing this in a way that is positive for me. I am open to looking at this from a different perspective. I just want to feel good. If that is your mantra, I just want to feel good. And if you are actively looking at that second thought and you're paying attention to what you think and you're saying, whoa, wait a second. It doesn't matter where the thought came from. It doesn't matter how long you've thought it. All that matters is that in that moment, you are taking the time to actually shift it. And I want to leave you with this. For a very long time, people thought that it was physically impossible for a human being to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Until someone did it. A man named Roger Bannister ran a mile in less than 4 minutes in 1957. And the most impressive thing is not the fact that he did something that was thought to be physiologically impossible. It's the fact that after he did it, 12 months later, 24 people ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. Why? Because they saw him do something that was previously thought of as impossible, and their thoughts shifted. He gave them an example of what was possible. And that created an open door for them to think differently, for them to feel differently, and ultimately for them to achieve something that was previously thought of as impossible. To this day, 1,600 people now have done it. Not me, because I don't run at all. maybe I'll run if there's a sale of something I'm particularly interested in. But otherwise, no. If it was a dancing competition, maybe we'd have a different conversation, but me and running, no thank you. But that's very impressive. The fact that something was seemingly impossible and then it suddenly wasn't. So I want to leave you with this, because no matter what it is that you want in your life that you are telling yourself right now is impossible or never will happen or will be extremely hard for it to happen, things happen from nothing. From the void, something will spring up. But what does it have to be first? It has to be thoughts, and it has to be emotions. And when your thoughts change and you notice that they're changing, and your emotions change and you're noticing that they're changing, that is your manifestation. That is the beginning of your manifestation. And if you keep going, it will show up in your reality, and people will look at it and people will say, totally thought that was impossible, until it wasn't. This has been your episode of Talk to Me Baby. As always, anything that we've discussed today, anything that I am wearing is linked down below. I'm your host, Emily de Armas, and I will talk to you later.